You are listening to Twisted Morals Chapter 6, written and created by Jasper BlackLace and audio by Kawushi. I woke up very early the next morning to Clementine reading a book called To Each Their Own. It was a book with a bouquet of pink peonies on the front, tied with a blood-soaked ribbon. "Where'd you find that one?" I say, followed by a deep yawn before standing up and looking down at her. It's a murder love story where the male lead is killed by the female lead's father. Her voice is still the same as last night. I must have really pissed her off. I walk off towards a heating element block on the rooftop and take a quick bathroom break. I guess I was kind of an asshole, but not even a thank you. Seriously, it's not like she owns me. I don't have to listen to her, and my ankle feels fine. Mostly. I came back from my adventure to her packing my things into the bag and putting one on her back and retying her laces. I guess we're on the move again then. Yes, we're about 3 hours from the food factory, and I am hoping it won't be too crowded. Okay then. After that, we didn't talk for a full 3 hours. By the time we got to the store, my ankle burned and my leg was aching. I know we still have a lot to do, but I don't know how much more my leg can take. "Sit down," she says, facing me quickly as she snaps a thin wooden plank over her knee and scraping each sharp end on the pavement for about 60 seconds each. "Why? Don't we have minimal time?" "Yes, we do." My confusion wavers as I sit down before her and stretch out my leg, relieving some of the pressure buildup. "You've slowed down over the last 20 minutes. We need to rewrap your leg so we can complete the task and get closer to your destination." She unwraps my leg, pouring a small amount of water over my skin, supporting both sides of my ankle with the wooden pieces before using the old wrap below a newer piece of cloth she must have found the night before. "Thanks, Clementine." My voice is gentle and sincere before she stands quickly readjusting her bag and making her way to the rooftop hatch. "No problem, let's get moving." "Yes, ma'am." We've climbed down the hatch to the top floor of the facility where we are met with a still illuminated office space and a working fridge and computer. "Guess this place runs on a generator," I say, walking toward the computer that oddly enough was already turned on and logged in under someone named Mark Andrew. "Sorry, Mark Andrew, but research, here I come." I search for the latest global news, and honestly, I wish I hadn't. "Clementine, can you come here, please?" My mouth begins to dry, and she walks over and glances at the screen. "Dear citizens worldwide, there is currently a global phenomenon that is changing the human body and mind into a man-eating monster. We don't have much information, but I can say we're in a state of crisis. If you can stay inside and don't drink any water from your taps. We do know the disease was transported by airlines via people and animals. We must not consume any wildlife or water. I repeat, stay inside and don't eat any livestock or drink any water from our taps." The message was on the global news channel and was very upfront about the situation. We both finished reading at about the same time before glancing at one another. "It's survival of the fittest now, sir. Guess our goal is to outlive the disease at this point. They aren't even offering evacuation. It's clear they are only going to protect important people. We're on our own out here." "It appears you're right. I have to get back to my brother and ex-wife as soon as possible." "If we're on our own, I have no choice but to get to them as soon as possible. They don't know anything about the situation as well as I do." "We're still a few days out, sir, and we need food and water to make it there, so let's get this hunt over with. I found 4 water bottles in the fridge sealed, so we can start there." I nod at her and help pack the water and a brick of cheese she overlooked because it expires soon. However, we're gonna have to eat expired food soon if we're to survive. Let's aim for canned goods that last a long time. Go for high protein and dense foods so we can grab less and still keep ourselves fed. She waves at me to follow. We got to the merchandise floor, and honestly, we got here at a good time. It is still relatively stocked, making this trip fairly easy. Clementine grabbed the lighter items like candy bars, small one-serving cereal boxes, and crackers. I grabbed canned meat, canned pasta, and some tuna. I also grabbed some canned fruits last second before we also got some more water bottles, as much as we could carry in our bags. On the way back up, we found a self-hygiene products outside the bathroom, and she grabbed 4 tubes of toothpaste and 4 toothbrushes. She told me to grab some hand wipes, about 6 packs worth, and 2 small bottles of hand sanitizer. We got 2 shampoo bottles and 2 conditioners, even if showering wasn't going to happen much. We went back up to the top floor, where we entered and decided to block the door to the merchandise floor to avoid any of the creatures getting in for future people to access safely. We set up camp out inside that night. Well, tonight was a good haul, right? She nods as she takes out her journal, writes down the date, and puts it back. Why do you always write the date before bed? I say, tilting my head like a dog in her direction. Time passed, even if we don't pay attention. I still want to know when my birthday will be, and when my dad's death anniversary is. I have days I wish to remember, and this is how I make that happen. Her answer was so honest and meek it sent shivers down my spine. That's a very poetic response, Clem. Quite impressive. Well, I'm a very insightful person. If only some people would have gotten over themselves long enough to notice maybe they would have been a better leader. Her jab was direct and honestly accurate. My ex-wife always said my pride was a double-edged sword. It may be my best weapon in the real world, but when I was at home, it was my biggest weakness. It made me delusional and oblivious to the happenings around me. You remind me a lot of my ex-wife right now, I say, laughing at myself in pity. Really? How so? She asked, clearly uninterested, as she put her hair up with a piece of rope and laid down facing the other way. When I walked in on her and my brother in bed together 3 years ago, she said it was my fault. She told me I was too prideful and never thought of her to this day. 3 years? Didn't you only divorce a year ago? She asks, turning toward me with a sleepy look in her eyes. We fought about it for almost a year after that. Honestly, I should have known. She had done it when we were just dating, too. Her ability to remain faithful was her weakness, and it obviously didn't pair well with my lack of self-awareness. I caught her cheating 6 more times with him after that, and finally, I called it and divorced her. We've been fighting ever since, and yet she is still my background. I flashed my phone to her briefly before sighing in contempt. I'm sorry my pride gets in the way sometimes, but I only showed up yesterday as I was worried about you. The sun was completely down by that point, and honestly, I don't regret coming. I'm sorry I made it worse, but I'm not sorry for showing up. I understand, sir. I'm sorry for getting mad. I know you were only helping. She yawned and shuts her eyes tightly. Good night, sir, she says, rolling the other way, and a few moments later she began snoring softly into the night. My eyelids became weak and heavy as I fell asleep to the warmth of her body and the sweet smell of her skin. You have completed Twisted Morals Chapter 6, written and created by Jasper BlackLace, and audio by Kwushi. We thank you for your patience during this time. I hope these repeated uploads all in one day make up for it. There will be 3 chapters uploaded next weekend is the goal. We appreciate your patience so much, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.